Hey, what's up, passengers? It's Duuz-Diz-Din, finally back with more Infinity Train. But unfortunately, it's sad tidings, as this is, in fact, the final season, the final book of Infinity Train. It's Book 4, Episode 1, The Twintapes. Book 4 is titled Duet, and it's actually, oddly enough, about two people, whereas, that's a running recurring thing within the Infinity Train. We always go in on the exceptions to the rule of the Infinity Train, the odd ones out. With the first season, The Perennial Child, the thing about Tulip is that she was dealing with One, the true conductor of the train, and it was the overthrowing of Amelia, the usurper of the Infinity Train. With Book 2, I think it was the Mirror Child or something like that, you were dealing with a normal passenger and a denizen who actually wanted to leave the train, and the unique circumstances behind how she actually managed to do just that. With Book 3, you had the Cult of the Conductor, which was all about those who looked to do what Amelia had done in the past, and had come to the misguided understanding that a higher number actually helped you, whereas a higher number just seemed to ensure your death at some point later down the line. Your chances of getting off the Infinity Train decreased the higher your number went. And honestly, Book 3 was probably the darkest book of Infinity Train. Now we're opening up with Duet, where we see the birth of two boys, Ming Park and Mingji. It's Mingji. Mingji Park and Ryan Akage. And two Asian boys, born and raised during the early 80s, I believe. So, an interesting time frame. It's weird to actually have a book that actually takes place prior to everything else, fascinatingly enough. And because of this meeting, we end up having the two families kind of coming together. But Minji's parents, he's more interested in music, and his parents feel like he'd be more adept at more classical styles of music. Whereas with his buddy Ryan, he's all about the electronic stuff. So Ryan does the singing and Minji does the electronic sounds, and they're not very good, but they're kids, they're having fun. They even plan on becoming a band later on in life, going on this massive road trip across the country, and we just see their lives growing. A full-on battle of the bands that Ryan wants to enter, but unfortunately they're not old enough at the time. And we're seeing a little bit of a fracture in the friendship as they can't really decide on a band name and all that good stuff. And, it's obvious that his parents are pushing him towards a more traditional ideas in terms of his way of life for the most part. They want him to be a more proper adult, whereas Ryan is all about living the dream and all that good stuff, which we especially see when it comes time for them to actually perform at a talent show, a concert more or less. With Mingji running late, but he actually managed to get the band name selected, which was actually the one that Ryan wanted to go with. So, they're all ready to go on. But then Ryan drops some knowledge that he has actually managed to get his dad's van, and they can, go across country, traveling around, performing, all that good stuff. But Ming-Yi, he's not ready for all of that. To just leave everything he knows, everything that he's ready for, he's just too stuck in this frame of mind. It's just like he's comfortable where he's at. He's okay with just living a simple, plain life. and he ends up running away from his friend, just kind of leaving Ryan in the lurch. Like, it's like, dude, you could have just told Ryan that you weren't ready for something like this. He would have taken it hard, but that would have been better than to just bail on the dude. So, Ming-Ji runs, Ryan goes on stage and performs his heart out and all that good stuff. Ryan travels across country performing to people who honestly don't even listen to him for the most part. Whereas Ming-Ji, he works kind of a dead end job, but he's applying for college. He's trying to secure his own future. But they still kind of miss each other to a certain extent. Ryan still misses his best friend, and Ming-Ji misses his best friend. But as Ming-Ji, he ends up being accepted into university. He has a bright future ahead of him. Ryan, on the other hand, goes through girlfriend after girlfriend who feels that he's a bum and a loser, and he even ends up losing his van to one of them. But they still think back to the friend that they left behind, that they lost, that they don't talk to anymore. But they just can't bring themselves to actually communicate. Until eventually, Ryan, of all things, has nowhere else to go. And he ends up going back to where it all began, ending up running into his old best friend. And they catch up with Ming-Ji talking about how now he's in control of the diner and all that good stuff. And Ryan, lying through his teeth, says, I got a gig up in New York. It's going to be great. It's going to be just like we always talked about. We should go together. I even got you a ticket, a one-way ticket to New York. But Ming-Ji's not about that, just giving up all of his plans and aspirations, everything he's worked towards. He's on a set path that doesn't have any weird, unexpected situations that could happen. So Ryan ends up stealing Ming-Ji's keys to lock up the diner, and Ming-Ji has no choice but to follow him, running all the way down to the train station. But when Ryan tries to go to the next car over, we see it. The Infinity Train arrives. And not being completely overtaken by the moment, Ryan does something rash and throws Ming-Ji's keys in and runs into the train, with Ming-Ji having no choice but to follow after Ryan in order to get his keys back. And we see that all of this has been the tape that these two share. Yes, a twin tape. Two people who are given the exact same number. I have to wonder, is this number connected? Is it that both of them have to have their number go down at the same time, and that's the only way that they'll be able to escape? It's the unique situation between the two of them. And we always see that, the unique situation of the Infinity Train. And even more interestingly enough, we see that this is being observed by none other than, I would say 1-1, but no, this was when he was just one. And he's talking to, of all people, Amelia, strangely enough. This was back before Amelia had usurped 1-1, when he was just a singular entity without a split personality, and he was still in control of the entirety of the train. It's a fascinating situation, and from what I hear, if we had gotten another season of Book 5, it would have been like a movie where you saw Amelia overthrow 1-1 and take control of the Infinity Train. I would have loved to see it with all the setup we've gotten for Amelia after all of this, between honestly, book 1, not 2, but 3, and especially now, it's just like Amelia's story is one that we've seen over the course of this series, and I would love to see what would it take for her to eventually get off the train. Would she get off the train? What would happen to Amelia in the end? He just continued to fascinate me with this character, and it's unfortunate that we might never get the answer to that. Although I do hear that the situation with Amelia goes concurrent with all of this as well. So It's an unfortunate situation that the story we coulda, shoulda, woulda got, but this. I'm still interested to see where the two twin tape boys end up after all of this. So all of the episodes for this season have been released. It's free to binge. It's unfortunate that we never got up to season 8 like Owen Dennis wanted, but I'll happily watch this over on HBO Max and finish off the series, but I hope you'll join me again once I reach the end of the line, and we'll talk about it there. But until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din. Tell me what you think about this so far, and no spoilers in the comments. This is the beginning of the journey, and you want it's about the journey, not the destination. And I'll bring up the review of the final episode later down the line. But until then, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I will see you later. Bye bye.